Λοιπόν, καλησπέρα σε όλες από εμένα. Καλώς ήρθατε στο mini αυτό σεμινάριο που θα μας κάνει σήμερα μια εξαιρετική ομιλήτρια σχετικά με 20 τεχνικές οι οποίες θα εκτοξεύσουν την παραγωγικότητά μας στα ύψη. Το σεμινάριο θα γίνει στα αγγλικά για να μπορέσει να ανέβει και στο πόρταλ του Women in Localization, οπότε να μπορέσουν να το δουν και μέλη από άλλα chapter. So I'm going to switch to English now for that purpose. So today we're going to be speaking about 20 techniques to skyrocket your productivity. I would like to say a few words about the event etiquette at this point. Please note that it is going to be recorded, and like I said, it's going to be available to all Women in Localization members. If you have any questions, we invite you to type them in the QA, in the chat portion of the Zoom platform. And my co-host will be taking notes, and then we can ask our speaker at the end of her presentation all the questions together. Please have your microphones muted when not speaking. And if you would like to ask a question, you can raise the hand, the option of the raise hand on the Zoom platform. If you would like, we could take a group photo, but for that purpose, we should have our cameras on. I will give you all a minute in case you want to open your cameras. Otherwise, I will take just with the persons that are already online. Okay, let's move on. First, I would like to say a few words about women in localization in general, and then I'm going to present our chapter briefly. Women in Localization is a certified non-profit organization with the mission of fostering a global community for the advancement of women in the localization industry through networking, education, career advancement, mentoring, and recognition for women's accomplishments. Founded in San Francisco in 2008, it's now supported by thousands of women and men across the global and the local chapters who support members locally. One such chapter is the chapter of Greece. Our mission is to foster a global community for all the women in the localization industry and for their advancement. Women in Localization currently has several programs. We call them programs for convenience. They are the main areas in which everything focuses in order to promote our mission. We have chapters and global growth programs. We have marketing programs, technology programs, the non-profit support programs, and other in which all members, no matter which chapter they belong to, can contribute. At this moment, there are several chapters around the world, and I'm happy to say that Greece is one of the largest ones. Most of the chapters are located in the United States, but there are several in the areas of Europe and East Asia. Our values are to support each other and have each other's back because, you know, women helping women is our main goal. We are all empowered to contribute and demonstrate through our actions what's possible for us. We bring our shared commitment to all we do. In short, our commitment drives our actions, results, and contributions. I'm sorry for the way I speak, but I'm a little nervous. We don't just have a place where we belong, but offer that feeling of belonging to all our members of the community. Women in Localization as a non-profit organization has several partners that help them achieve their goals. Some of these partners you can see on your screens right now, and they are companies that offer various benefits for members and chapters alike. Our global sponsors are the ones that you see on your screen right now, and they are our main supporters in our goals. Who can join now? Women in Localization is an inclusive organization and welcomes as a member anyone in the globalization, localization, internationalization, and translation industry who is committed to supporting our mission to foster a global community for the advancement of women and the localization industry. We offer several benefits to our members, from watching all the recordings of the events that we hold, to exclusive webinars, to discounts to partner events, volunteering in our local chapters. We send out a monthly newsletter with several interesting factoids about the localization community. We offer leadership skills development, something that is very important in women that want to achieve higher levels of career in our industry. Access to gated content exclusively for the members, and publishing on our platform, which offers a blog that is circulating worldwide. The role of men now. Women in Localization is an organization for the advancement of women, but men are also welcome. Everyone is welcome, so long as they believe in promoting the inclusion and support our mission, and they can serve in any role or function within their organization. A few metrics right now. At a glance, as of January 2022, we have, as you can see, 27 chapters in 19 countries. We have approximately 8,500 official members and many followers in our various social media outlets. And every chapter tries to do 4 to 5 events yearly. This is the leadership team for the current year and for the next 2 years. Myself as a chapter project manager. We have Nefeli Antonopoulou, who is a mentorship and education manager. Valentini Kalfadopoulou, who is our marketing manager. Efi Emanuelidou, who is the events manager and my co-host in this event. Vasiliki Helidoni, who is our membership manager and my other co-host for this event. Chrysanthemi Michali, who is our social media manager and is responsible for all the wonderful things that you see online on our social platforms. Maria Guru, who is our sponsorship manager, and Nula Harlabidou, who is our other mentorship and education manager. If you would like to connect with our chapter and you haven't done so already, you can either check our future events on the official Women in Localization website or follow us in our various media outlets, and even send an email to the email address that you currently see on your screens. And now I would like to give Effie the floor so she can present our speaker. Effie.
Hello, Alexia, welcome, and welcome to everyone.
Happy to be here.
Alexia is an entrepreneur, a trainer, and a podcaster. She has undertaken various roles regarding project management, marketing, sales, training, and human resources. I got to know her through her podcast, which is No One Podcasts in Business Game of Money. And I have to say your organizational skills shine there.
Thank you.
She always focuses on the main points that we have to keep and gives them all in bullet points, which is very, very useful. So I'm looking forward to hear what we have to say today. The floor is yours.
Perfect. Thank you. Hello, everyone. So my name is Alexia Vasdeki. I'm very, very happy to be here because one of my favorite things in the world is to help others become better, evolve, etc. So I'm very happy to be here. Let me introduce myself. So I studied business administration. I have been an employee. That was for almost 7 years. But at some point, I realized that I didn't want to be an employee for the rest of my life. So I was thinking, I need to find something to do by myself. And I always wanted this flexibility, you know, to work from wherever I want, whenever I want, etc. So I started looking into different opportunities. And at some point, one of my mentors told me about an opportunity that we could build a very big network in Greece and abroad, where we could teach and train people how to build a side business in order to build an extra income and learn entrepreneurship and personal development. So currently I have a team of more than 30 people that I train to do so. I also train employees and managers on different business and social skills. And as I was introduced already, I have a podcast. It's called Game of Money. Unfortunately, it's only in Greek, but whoever knows Greek, you can go on Spotify or wherever you listen to your podcast. It's for free. And we teach people how to manage the finances better and how actually to live a better life. So regarding productivity, I don't know if you have ever felt super overwhelmed, like you have so many things to do and you don't even know where to start from, or you feel like you don't have the time to do everything you want, or maybe that there's a day that goes by and you were like, what did I finally do today? Does anyone relate? First of all, I would like for this to be a bit interactive, so please feel free to write in the chat if you relate at any of this. Type in number 1 if you've ever felt like that, because I felt like this a lot. So at some point I realized that I need to do something about it. And I started reading, listening to podcasts, studying about different ways that I could be more productive. And that is how I finally have found a couple of strategies that have helped me. And whenever I feel overwhelmed, I know what to do and where to start from. I feel like I have time to do more things than I used to. And now if I want to have a super productive day, as I had today, very happy about that, I know how to do it. So let me share some strategies that are practical, and because I'm very practical, so I want, as soon as we're done, for you to have a couple of things that you can take home and implement right away. Very happy that you're relating. So let's start. I want to start with something very simple. What is actually productivity? If you think about it, productivity is to have the results that we want in less time and with less effort. Because there's so many times that we have a task or an assignment and it takes so long, and maybe we procrastinate, or we're doing many things at the same time. So being productive is actually doing your task in less time with less effort. So take your pen and paper out and start writing those tips. Tip number 1, strategy, let's say, is prioritization. So let me tell you something. We talk a lot about time management, okay? But actually, we cannot manage time. It's 24 hours. Everyone has 24 hours. The point is, how do you prioritize whatever you have to do? So I'm going to share with you, and this is key. I didn't understand it at the beginning. As soon as I started understanding how important prioritization is, everything changed for me. So I'm going to share with you 3 techniques that I have used for the past years. Actually, I use them all in order to see what works for me best. So I'm going to share all 3 and you can try them out. So the first technique, which for me is a bit funny, but super simple and very helpful, it's called the magic question. The second one is the Eisenhower's model. And the third one is a list that it's a bit different. You're going to see what I mean. So let's start with the first one. The first one is the magic question. So what do? Especially when you feel overwhelmed, you definitely need to do this. So you write down all of the things you have to do. You take a piece of paper, your notebook, it doesn't matter what, and you write everything down, everything, so you don't have it in your head. As soon as you write it down, you ask yourself this question. If today I could do only one task, one thing, and nothing else, for real, what would that one most important task be? As soon as you find out which one it is, you write number 1 next to it and you circle it. And then you do the second question again. If today I could do one more task, but nothing else, what would that be? And that's number 2. And you keep on asking this question until you have prioritized everything. So now it's clear what you need to do, with which task you need to start. And you start with it, and listen carefully. you don't go to the next one until you are done with the first. Because I think too many, who has a couple of things to do, a million things, and then he starts one and does another and then goes to another and etc. And then at the end of the day, you have done 10 things, but you haven't really finished anyone. If you relate, type in the number 2. So this is the magic question that has helped me a lot. I know you relate, I've been there. So the second one is called Eisenhower's model. This model, it's very simple. You actually have your list again, but then you prioritize it in a different way. You see what is important, what is urgent, what is non-urgent, and what is not important. So let's say something that's important and urgent, for example, tomorrow I have a deadline, a press release, whatever, I need to check it out. Okay, this is urgent and important because it's gonna go out to the press, let's say. So you do it right away. The second category is important and not urgent. Usually, those are the things that are really important and we schedule them, but later on. You need to schedule them, but they need to be a priority. For example, let's say, I need to create a new website for my personal brand. I already have one, so it's not super urgent, but it's like 10 years ago, so I need a new one, and it's important to make it. So we schedule it, but you need to prioritize it. Then it's the not important but urgent. If possible, you delegate it because it's urgent. For example, I need to book this rendezvous, let's say this meeting. So it's not super important, but it's urgent because it's for tomorrow. If you have the possibility, you delegate it. And then it's not important, not urgent. You either decide not to do it at all, or you do it later on. So that's a second category way to prioritize. And the third way to prioritize is this list. I tried it out, it was very interesting. So you take a piece of paper and then you draw a line in the middle, and on the left part, you write the most important project that you have to do. And you write all the tasks that need to be done that are related to this project. And on the right side, you write the second most important project and the tasks related to it. And a couple of small things that need to be done. Usually, we cannot handle in a day more than 2 important projects and a few things. So that also helps you understand what I can actually do during a day. Because, you know, other times, sometimes we set ourselves for failure. Like we put 20 things we want to do in the day. We don't do it because it's not possible to do it. And then we feel like we hadn't succeeded or we're a failure. It doesn't work that way. So second strategy, let's say, you will try out different things and you will see what works for you best. The second thing is, who has heard the expression, eat your frog? If you have, type number 3, please. What does it mean? There's a book called Eat Your Frog. I'm going to tell you the main theme of it. It says that you need to start your day with your most important task. Usually the most important task is the one that's a bit more difficult. Usually we procrastinate because it takes a bit more time. I'm telling you, if you start your day with the most important thing, afterwards, you're going to have the whole day for you. And you're going to feel like a queen because you have already finished the most important part that we say, okay, I know what you do because I do it too. Let me tick off all the small things in order for my list to become smaller and smaller. And I'll keep this one thing at the end. And then it's afternoon. Oh, I'm tired. I need to go back home or whatever. And it goes for the next day. And it happens again and again and again. Okay, so you can try this out. It's not easy to do it every day, to be honest, because I'm very productive as a person and very organized. I still don't do it every day. But whenever I do it, the day, like it goes differently. You feel much better. Everything then it's super easy. Because if I say, okay, 10 to 12, I will do this super hard thing or whatever, then all the small things go by super easily. So it's amazing. Eat your frog. You need to remember that, especially if you're procrastinating in something. Do it first thing in the morning. Let's go tip number 3, batch work. Do you know, type a Y for yes if you know what batch work means, and an N for no if you don't know what it means. So if I need to explain it. Okay, even if we have one person that doesn't know, I'll always explain it. Okay, perfect. Batch work, it's when you do similar tasks at the same time, excuse me. So for example, let's say that I need, write me so I can relate with you. Can you write me a task that you may have, something that you need to do it again and again? Let's say that you have to translate 2 essays, 3 essays. Okay, but something that's 2 or 3 pages, not something that's 80 pages. Okay, I'll take an example. Instead of doing 1 today, 1 on Thursday, 1 on Friday, it's better for you to do them all together. Why? Because you're in the flow. You're already in this flow and you're much more productive, you're much more efficient, and you don't need to go and set yourself up again and again. Let me give you an example for the podcast, but maybe it's easier for you to understand as well. So we release a podcast every Wednesday. In order to release a podcast, we need to find the theme, to meet up with my partner, to record it, then to edit it, then to upload it, blah, blah, blah. Okay, and it's once per week. We don't meet up once per week in order to do it. We meet up once per month or once per 2 months. We record for a whole day, and then we have for the rest of the month or 2 months podcasts. So that's batch work. You will find out exactly, create social media posts. Instead of doing it every day, you can have 2 hours on Monday and create the posts for the whole week. That's much, much more efficient. Okay, and you reduce the time that you actually need to work on that. You can definitely try it out. For me, it has been a huge game changer. Calendar. Do you use your calendar? Your calendar is an amazing, amazing tool that can help you so, so much. First of all, if you have everything in your head, there's no more space for you to have ideas, you feel overwhelmed. So put on your meetings, everything you need to remember, just put it in your calendar. It's there for you, it's a tool, it can remind you everything. I have everything. If I show you my calendar, you're probably gonna freak out, but it's okay because everything's there. I don't need to think of everything. It reminds me, okay, at 7 o'clock I had this meeting, I had this presentation, so I don't need to remember it. Also, something that's very useful for a calendar. I told you before that sometimes we set up ourselves for failure because we think that we can do a bajillion things in a day. What can you do? Let's say that you think you can do 7 tasks. You'll go in your calendar. I did this today, actually. You go in your calendar and you say, okay, 10 to 12, I will do this task. 12 to 1, I will do this task. 1 to 2, I will have my lunch break. Then 2 to 3, I have a meeting. 3 to 4, you will put everything in. As if you had the meeting, your tasks are gonna go in your calendar as if you had the meeting. And then you will actually see how many things you can get done within a day. And when you thought you can do 20 things, you'll see that actually you can do 5 things. And it's okay because I can schedule the rest for tomorrow or the day after tomorrow. But it's better to know rather than ending your day and then seeing that, oh, I didn't have time to do everything, and then you get anxious, etc. So use your calendar as a tool. It's a super, super useful tool. Oof, this is one of my favorite. My calendar is super busy, looks so full that makes me to throw it out. How can I change or manage that? Okay, that's a great question, Poppy. The first thing that I would say, is, why is it so full? I mean, is it that you have more than you can handle maybe? Because sometimes it happens that we need to say some no's. For me, that happens as well. So for example, my business partner had a new idea about our podcast, which was amazing, but requires more time from me, which right now, if I did, my calendar would be exploding. So I said, perfect, we can do that, but later on. And we agreed that we're going to start it from January 1st. This takes some practice. Also, I would say the meetings. Can I answer this at the end, if it's possible?
Yeah,
because
sure.
I'm going to say a couple of things that maybe help you. For example, what I'm going to say now, we haven't learned to focus. Especially we as women, we know because we are meant to be mothers, let's say, that we can multitask. We can see what a child does, as we're working at the same time, so we can multitask. I was very proud of being an amazing multitasker. I was like, I'm the queen of multitasking. But what I found out, there's a research of Harvard Business Review that shows that we actually burn our brain cells when we multitask. For real, we burn them. It actually says it's as if you smoke X amount of weed. I don't remember. So what I realized is that when you multitask, you're bound to make mistakes. The percentage is increased by 50% to make a mistake because you get lost. Your productivity actually is reduced by 40%. And in order to complete a task, you need 50% more time than if you had focused on that. So what I do now, whenever I've decided to do something, I focus 100% on that. And let me tell you a couple of ways that I found that help me focus. The first thing is that your phone needs to be in silence. So you have decided that you need to translate a paper and you need an hour. For an hour, put your phone on silent. Imagine that you're flying. You're on a trip, so no one can find you on the airplane. It's okay. It's okay if someone cannot find us for an hour. And my friends, it's called vibration is not silent. I mean silent. Because even if, not only silent, you need to turn your phone upside down. Why? Listen to this statistic. It's mind-blowing. If you're focused, you're in the freaking zone, you're translating, and someone texts you or makes a phone call and you don't pick it up, but you just see who is calling. In order to get again in the flow and reach the same level of focus that you were before you were interrupted, you need 19 to 22 minutes, my friends. 19 to 22 minutes in order to reach the same level of focus that you had before you were interrupted. That's how important it is for you not to be interrupted when you're 100% focused somewhere. So phone silent, okay, for an hour. Then you can turn it on, make a call back anyone, message them, etc., until you decide you're going to focus on something else. Second thing, if that helps you, for me, it helps me a lot. I wear headphones when I was working as an employee, as well as I'm working now alone. Although no one is in my house when I'm working, headphones somehow help me concentrate because they focus me and I'm 100% here. If that is helpful for you. And if it is helpful, let me give you another tip. Create a playlist that you're going to listen to only when you work. I have a playlist on Spotify. It's called The Zone. Okay, because I'm in the zone. Whenever I've heard it a billion times, but it's okay because I don't really listen to the song actually because I'm focused. But whenever I put this playlist and my headphones on, I somehow at the beginning not, but gradually I go in the zone. Like these songs wire me to get focused. Does it make sense? If it makes sense, type number 5, please. I use the loop earplugs since I can't work with music on to tune out everything else and focus. Perfect. That's another great tip. Great. And the other thing you can do in order to get focused is to use the Pomodoro technique. What's the Pomodoro technique? Pomodoro, like Italian. Okay, the first thing is that you pick a task. You say, okay, I'm going to do this right now. I'm going to create a glossary. You set a timer. It can either be for 20, 25, I would say 35 minutes max. And you put a timer actually on your phone. And I'm going to And as soon as the timer goes off, you stop. Even if you have finished or no, it doesn't matter. And you take a 5-minute break. Why? Because your brain needs a break. It needs it. And after, you'll be much more efficient. Okay, and you will see that in those 25 minutes, you will have been as productive as you have never been before, because you have a timer, you know it's 25 minutes. Okay, even if something you remember, I'm going to tell you what to do if randomly you remember stuff that you need to do. There's a technique as well. But you have 25 minutes, so you're going to be super focused on that. And I said breaks because breaks help you increase your productivity. We have the illusion that if I work 5 hours straight, then I can maybe finish earlier or whatever. No, our brain has an X capacity, doesn't matter what that is, and it needs a break. It needs a break. You can get off your chair, walk a bit, drink some water, take some breaths, whatever you want, even if it's for 5 minutes, and then move on. Today I did this mistake. I went to a cafe to work, and I started working at 10:30, and I left at 1:30, and I only did one break to go to the bathroom. Anyway, and at 1:30, I was feeling like my head was buzzing. I realized I hadn't done a break for 3 hours. That's very tiring to do work for 3 hours straight. So I realized that sometimes maybe I need to set a timer for myself to remind me to make a break, because sometimes you get overexcited, you have so many things to do, you're going through the freaking list and you're like, yes, let's do this, but you need a break. Now, let's say that you are focused, 100% focused, and then suddenly you remember something, like a random question that you would like to Google for no reason, just because, or you remember, I need to call my son's doctor or whatever. What you do, you take a piece of paper and you write all the relevant things that come in mind. So you don't need to look out to do the action right away because you're focused. And you won't be anxious that, if I don't do it right away, I'm going to forget it, because that's what we say to ourselves. So have this list, and you will see that as soon as you are done with your task, half of them are totally relevant and you won't even care, okay? And the other, you can actually prioritize them and do them, it's fine. But this helps you to not fall in the trap of multitasking, because I'm doing this, I remember I need to make this phone call. Let me do it just for a minute, because otherwise I'm going to forget it. And then you lose your flow, you start to multitask again and do 15 things at the same time. I use this and I can feel now when the time is up. Perfect. Yes, exactly. Emails. Who has many emails every day? Type number 10 if you have many emails. Ooh. Poppy's feeling this. Yes. Okay, so what can you do about emails? Actually, I've heard an amazing, what is an email? An email is the needs of other people that come into your life. Usually they're asking something from you. So it's actually their priority. It's not your priority. So unless you're working in customer support or something like that, which you need to work on your emails at all time, I would suggest that you don't start your day with your email, because then you start your day with the priorities of others versus starting your day with your priorities. That's the first thing I would suggest. The second thing I would suggest is, again, your emails, you can do batch work. So you're going to say 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. I'm going to answer all my emails, and then I'm going to check them again 4:30 to 5, another half an hour. So if you batch them, it's much more efficient. And emails, I felt this day again, because I opened my email to send something that was actually my priority, and then I started reading what's happening and all my unread, and I fell into the trap of opening one, and you know how this goes. So prioritize it and have it as a task. I'm gonna answer my email. I have as a task to answer all my Instagram messages, because every day I have many. So I have it as a task, and I'm going to batch it. I don't go every 2 minutes or every time someone answers to answer the message. I would never do anything. Okay, so I actually batch it and prioritize it. And usually I also answer my emails at a time that it's not the time that I'm very productive or very creative. I use this time for creative stuff. So in the morning, I'm much more creative, I'm rested, etc. After lunch, that I'm usually a bit more down for a while, I do my emails because they don't require a lot of effort or thinking, etc. Number 9, meetings. Almighty Jesus. Who has meetings? I don't know. Do you have meetings? If you have, type in the number 8 to see if this is relevant for you. You do have meetings. Perfect. Meetings are very time consuming usually. So let me tell you what you can do in order to have efficient and effective meetings. The first thing is you need to understand if you really need to be at that meeting. If you're not needed, don't just be there because someone invited you. Okay, it's your time. You need to prioritize it. So if you're not needed, don't be at that meeting. That's very important. Especially that happens mostly in multinational companies that just invite people in and like, I have to go to this meeting. Why? I have no idea. They just invited me. And maybe this doesn't happen to you, so you will see. You need to know if you are the host of the meeting, you need to make clear what is the purpose. If they're inviting you and you don't know the purpose, you need to ask, why is this meeting happening? Do you know that so many meetings are happening and no one knows why? Look, let's just talk for whatever. You need to clarify the duration of the meeting, and this is a trap. Most calendars by default create a 1-hour meeting. Meetings can be 15 minutes, can be 5 minutes, can be 20 minutes, can be 40 minutes. You will define how long a meeting needs to be. And don't fall in the trap to having a 1-hour meeting just because the default of the calendar is that. Because what we do is actually we talk longer, we'll make a bigger introduction in order to fill the 1 hour. No, most of my meetings are half an hour. For real. If I have a training to train my team or here, whatever, it can be an hour, of course. But there are meetings that take also, yesterday I had a meeting for 15 minutes because that was how much time we needed. It's fine. You need to have a clear agenda. What are we going to talk about? And as soon as you leave the meeting, you need to know what needs to be done, by whom, and by when. If you don't know, it's not a successful meeting. This is super important. What needs to be done? Who will do it? By when? Notifications. You know, notifications are built in order to rule the world. You need to have control of your phone. Our phone is a perfect tool, but do you use it in your advantage or does it use you? The first thing that you need to do is turn off your notifications. Keep your phone, okay, of course it can ring, and choose one message platform, max 2 message platforms that they're gonna ring, let's say. The others that can be in the notification center, or you will choose. You will choose when you're gonna go on Instagram and answer the messages. You will choose when to answer your emails. Please don't have your emails notification on. That's not efficient at all. They will rule you, your emails. You need to be in charge. No, I'm gonna look at my emails at 2 o'clock. If I need to look at them early, perfect. I'm gonna look at them. I'm gonna have a look at 11, but not as soon as the email comes. That's very important. Turn off your notifications, and you're gonna see that you're gonna have so much more time because you're going to be more efficient and not, someone texted me on Facebook, on Instagram, an email notification, WhatsApp, a Telegram, a Viber. We have a bajillion also apps. So, you know, everything's ringing everywhere. Number 11, I don't know how useful this is for you. I decided to put it in because for some people it can be very useful. You can use project management tools to organize yourself, or even if you have a small team. So there are many different that are for free. Let's say there's Asana, there's Monday, there's Trello. There are many different, you can just Google them. I'm just saying a couple that I have tried out. And these project management tools help you a lot because you know what needs to be done per project and by when. Trello is my alter ego. Awesome, Maria. Amazing. So these project management tools, especially people that feel that they're not very organized, they can organize you actually. Those who are organized freaks, they're going to love it anyways. Okay, like me. Let's go to number 12. Ooh, I love this. It took a while for me to understand this tip, this strategy actually. But Evgenia says, unfortunately, in our industry, emails need to be checked and answered pronto. Evgenia, I don't know your industry 100%, but I'm sure that if you answer an hour later or 2 hours later, you won't really lose a job or get destroyed. Is it right? Answer Evgenia and I will answer back. So you agree with me, right? If you agree, right, yes. If you disagree, right, no. You disagree, okay. Right, actually at the end, raise your hand and we can open your mic to discuss it because it's easier with chat, okay? Just keep it for a while. Okay, perfect, we're gonna talk about it. So number 12 is building systems. What do I mean with that? There are many things that we do in our business, and here you need to help me a bit, that we could create a system around it in order not to do it again and again and again. For example, maybe you send an offer. Okay, a system is to have the template of an offer, to have ready the email that I send, and not every time write the email again or go to my sent and find it and copy paste it. Okay, a system is something that you can plug in and do it again and again easily. And if and whenever you have someone that you're going to partner, he can plug it into your system and easily use it and have results. Let's say another example of a system, maybe you can help me, something that you can create a system around it. So an offer is super easy to create a system around it.
We can create custom email templates for repetitive answers to clients.
Exactly, that's a system. Perfect, Poppy. That's a system. Or for example, for the team I told you, I have a team of 30 people that I train them how to build a side hustle and learn entrepreneurship and personal development. So many people join my team, okay, every week actually. So I need to have a system. What happens when someone joins my team? What's the first thing I tell them? What's the second thing? What videos do I need to send them? I don't need to find them again and again. I have them. There's a system. 1, 2, 3, 4 things to do. How do you know that you need a system? If you do something again and again and again, you need a system. And it's better for you to spend an hour to create it, because then you're going to gain so much time later on, rather than doing the same thing again and again and again. And someday I'm going to build a system because I don't have the time now. Build the system first. It's going to save you so much time. Tip number 13, organize your files, especially you guys, you have a lot of files on your computer. You know how much time you're going to lose if you don't remember the name, you're looking for it, in which folder did I put it? That's something that you're going to lose a lot of time. So a super simple technique is that whenever I download a file or I create a file, immediately I name it correctly and I put it in the right file. Immediately, not later on. Because later on you have a folder that has all the random things inside, and then you're losing so much time to find it. Create shortcuts. For example, shortcuts can be anything. It can be templates. You know that if you answer too many questions on Instagram or social media or email, you can use an app that's called Boards Sales Keyboard. You create texts, and with one click, you can respond to anything. You can check it out. That's been a game changer for me, for real. Shortcuts can also be your, how's it called? I forgot the name in Greek as well. In Google, for example, if you have a page that you open it all the time, you can star it. How's that called? Bookmark. Yes, you can bookmark it. So, for example, I have files that I open them every day. I don't go, I open my Gmail, I open my Google Drive, then I go to my files and then I open it. No, I have it bookmarked on the top of my page, and with one click, I open it. So these are super easy things that you can start doing. You know, it seems small, but you're gonna gain a lot of time, I'm telling you. I guess you all already know it, but I just wanted to put it. You are translators and you're typing, you need, it's called in English blind system. I'm not sure I translated it from Greek. Is it called blind system? Okay, perfect. I Googled it, but I wasn't sure. So you need to learn blind system because you're going to type so much faster and you're going to gain time, a lot of time. And I put the link. It's called typingclub.com. This is how I learned how to the blind system, because it's a game and it teaches you gradually how to type faster and faster. Yes, touch typing, you mean where you have your fingers, right? Yeah, exactly. This is what I mean, blind system. Exactly. So you can do it much faster. Certain sites when the browser opens. Yes, but let me tell you something. If I set the browser to open 5 different sites, I'm going to lose my focus, because at that point I wanted to do one thing and suddenly another tab opens that's not related to what I wanted and I get lost. So I have by default only one site that I want to open, and then I have my bookmarks, so I can choose when I want to open them. Yes, Poppy, that's also what I want to say about shortcuts. Learn operating system shortcuts. They can be much, much faster and efficient for you. Perfect, thank you. Yeah, guys, if you have more, you can add them so we can exchange ideas. That's great. I know this might seem funny to some people, but of course you know that if you don't have a light lunch, after lunch, you're not efficient, you're not productive, you just want to sleep. Power naps are amazing. There's a research, a NASA research that shows that people who do power naps, as soon as they wake up, they're like 40% more productive than those who didn't do. If you have the possibility to have a power nap, always do it. It's not in my presentation, but I'm telling you, because what happens with me, for example, I say, okay, now I want to sleep, but I need to do this task, so I can't sleep. And I say to myself, Alexia, if you don't sleep, this task is going to take you 2 hours. If you do a 20 hours power nap, 20 minutes, 20 hours next day. If you do a 20 minutes power nap, you're going to need an hour. So you will have actually gained time. So just do it 20, not more than 20 minutes. It's important. And light lunches help you in order not to fall asleep and continue being as productive as possible. It's very helpful. My mom does something else. For me, I'm always hungry, so I don't do that. My mom eats a salad or fruits, and then she eats a better dinner later, like at 6 or 7. I really want to eat lunch, so I eat lunch, but I focus on it being something light. Yeah, Poppy, no, that's not very efficient. Maybe whenever you forget something, you can play a game with yourself. Put a timer that says eat now. You can use the timer and your phone as an advantage. Or those who don't remember to drink water, they can have an alarm every 1 hour to drink even like 2 sips. If you haven't drank water, please do.
Exactly. It's one of the reasons that we organized this seminar, because most of the translators that I know forget to eat.
Okay, yeah, that's and it depends how it works better for you, because as I said, for my mom, it works great for her to eat her lunch, dinner at 6, 7. And all day she has eaten fruits and salads and healthy stuff like that. But if it doesn't, if you forget and then you go and eat a huge dinner, for example, and then you can't sleep, or you don't, you won't be able to wake up the next morning, of course, that's not very good. I understand. So tip number 17. Ooh, I have a question for you. There are two types of people, the early birds and the night owls. If you're an early bird, type number 1. If you're a night owl, type number 2. Perfect. Ooh, we have both. If you don't know, type number 3. That's possible. So why I'm asking this question, you need to know what type of a person are you. If you're a morning bird, start with the most important task in the morning. Do the things that require creativity and innovation and thinking in the morning, and do the more operational stuff in the afternoon. If you're a night owl, you need to do the opposite, and it's fine. You can use this as your advantage, and especially if you're not employees and you have this this possibility, because there are people that are efficient after 9 p.m. But if they're employees, they cannot do it. They need to adjust. But most of you, I think, are self-employed, so you can use this as your advantage. Ah, this is another thing. Give me a sec. This is another thing. Open tabs. It's what I told you before. You know, we end our day and we have like a gajillion tabs open. That this doesn't help us. We lose focus because suddenly you see a tab and you say, oh, what happened there? Let me go check. And then you totally lose your focus. So there are two things that you can do regarding the tabs. The one thing in Google Chrome, I don't know if you know it, but you can select like 3 or 4 tabs and right click and you put them in a category so they can close, and you can have your tabs in different categories. That's very organized. I love it. But what I suggest at the end of the day, always close your tabs, because next morning when you open your laptop and you have all your tabs, instead of starting with your priority number 1, you're going to start with, what's happening in this tab? Let me see, let me answer, let me do that. Now, someone's going to think, yes, Alexia, I could close my tabs, but I need them open because that's how I'm going to remember, or I need the URL, whatever. No problem. You can bookmark all your tabs and put them in the folder with the date, for example, and the next morning, as soon as you need them, and as soon as you are done with your priorities, you can open them all together again. It's super easy in Google Chrome. Perfect. I love that you're relating. 2 more tips before I answer your question. Haha. Who here is a perfectionist? Type a number 10 if you're a perfectionist. Ooh, yes, I can relate. I'm a perfectionist. I actually used to be a lot. Now I'm better. So I have a couple of mottos, let's say, that help me a lot. The first thing is that done is better than perfect. Do you know how much time we lose as perfectionists? For example, I almost this thing happened to me with this presentation. Do you want to know why? It's very funny. I lost a lot of time to find the perfect font that I believe that it will be best for this presentation. I changed 5 times the freaking font, and then I realized, I'm like, Alexia, first of all the fonts that you're choosing are similar, so no one understands the difference. Second of all, it's a font. You're going to describe everything. It's like 2 words in each slide. And we lose so much time. I could have finished this presentation for sure 20 minutes earlier. And you're going to say, okay, it's 20 minutes. 20 minutes, I could have done another task for sure. So done is better than perfect. Always remember that. And it has helped me a lot, because being a perfectionist doesn't help you take action. That's super important. Being a perfectionist doesn't help you take action. Do you know how many people I talk to and I say, okay, let's do this together. And like, I have so many things, and because I want to do it perfect, I'd rather not start it until I know that I can do it perfect. And they never started because there's never a perfect time to start something new. There's never a time that you're going to say, now I have 12 hours per week, 20 hours per week to start something new. No, you need to create it. And there's a book, there's two authors called Jake Knapp and John Zeratsky. They say perfectionism is a distraction. And it is. It's another way to lose your focus from what truly matters. For me, it's better to do something. You know, perfection is progression. Doing something is better than not doing it at all. When we started the podcast, let me give you an example. When we decided with my business partner to start a podcast, we didn't have a mic, we didn't have anything. We just took my laptop and we didn't have a studio. We actually went, our first 3 episodes were in the walk-in of my dad. My dad has a walk-in, it's a small room with a carpet and all his clothes are around. We went there because the carpet and the clothes actually doesn't make an echo, so the sound is much better. So we went there, we sat together down on the floor and we just had the laptop and we started recording. Was it perfect? No. But did we do it? Yes. Did we start the podcast? Yes. Did after 2 years, because of that decision, become #1 in Greece? Yes. That's what I'm talking about. So you just need to start it. When I wanted to start my videos on social media, I didn't have the ring light, the whatever, something that would hold it. I just put my phone like that and I started talking, even if the light was like this in my face. It doesn't matter. Gradually, I realized that I need to find a better light. Gradually, I realized that I need to have subtitles. But it didn't happen from one day to another. You need to do it gradually. So just start. That's the most important thing for me. Yes. And my last tip is focus on the solution. Oh my God. We lose so much time when we focus on the problem. And why did it happen? And who did it? And why? And blah, 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 blah. And we talk again about the problem and what happened. You need to start focusing on the solution because that's what you need. You know, people pay you for a solution that you give. So as soon as you start building the habit of focusing on the solution, you're going to have better results. Of course, after you find the solution, you can go see what was the problem so it won't happen again, of course. But focus on the solution. And an amazing question is, how can I? Whenever you have a problem, ask this question. How can I help this client? How can I blah, blah, blah? Why doesn't serve you. How can I does. It helps you find a solution. So being productive is a new habit. It's a habit. You built it gradually. It takes time. I don't know if you heard it. We used to need 21 days to build a new habit. Unfortunately, research has shown that we need 66 days and not 21. So you need to give yourself some grace and some time. I gave you 20 different strategies. There are a lot, so I don't want you to implement them all. I want you to pick 1 to 3 maximum strategies tonight before you fall asleep. Pick 1 to 3, ideally 1, but there are people that want to implement everything. So max 3, and implement it tomorrow and see how it goes, and do it again and again and again and see how it works for you. And as soon as you make it a habit, as soon as you feel comfortable with this, as soon as it comes more automatically, let's say, then you can choose another strategy and start implementing it. And of course, give yourself some grace, because there are going to be days, even if you know these strategies and tips, that you're not very productive, that you're not going to eat your frog, that you're going to multitask. It happens and it's fine. Just you need to be aware of it, to realize it, and then say, okay, tomorrow I'm going to do it different. And something else that really helps me as well is for me to have prioritized what I need to do from the previous night, because then I start my day by knowing exactly what's the first thing I need to do. For me, that's super helpful. So put it into action, choose 1 to 3. And of course, you can let me know how it went. You can connect with me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, whatever. LinkedIn, I don't go in so much, so maybe Instagram is my favorite. So you can find me there. Of course, you can ask me anything you want. And now and later on, I'm free for you, available. It was an honor being here. And thank you so much for trusting me and for inviting me.
Thank you, Alexia. It has been a very enlightening presentation, I have to say. Personally, I even made notes, which I'm going to put on my list with other things that I have to do.
Just pick one in order not to feel overwhelmed.
That's what I'm going to do next. I think it's time for our Q&A now. If anyone would like to speak, please open your microphone and raise the hand of Zoom.
I think, Evgenia, if you wanted to ask.
Yeah, about the emails, right?
The emails.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hi.
Good evening.
Hello.
Hi, Alexia.
Yes, Alexia. First of all, thank you very much for a truly amazing presentation with all the tips that we hear there and there, but now we have them all together in a very nice and consolidated approach. Now, the email problem.
Yes.
Unfortunately, it is a problem for us translators, the emails, because we cannot ignore emails while we are working. Sometimes job projects can come through automated platforms, and it's even more serious when a project manager, a living person, is sending us an email and asking us if we are available for such and such project. This project manager also has to answer to someone else. So she needs to have an answer from us if we can have this project. So she can make her own job, say to the client that yes, we can take this job, etc. So it's the least I can say that it's impolite to have, for example, a project manager waiting for me to go 4 o'clock so that I can open my mail. And plus, we are losing jobs. We can lose jobs like this. In every productivity tip, the email issue is always there. I agree with not starting your day with looking through emails. At least for me, I need to have a cup of coffee. But having the emails closed, and I'm talking strictly professional emails. I'm not talking about notifications from Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn or whatever. I'm talking strictly professional emails. Sometimes when I need to work, I am so, when I have something very, to translate something that I need to concentrate, I have to get up very early in the morning before the email starts, at least in my time zone, in our time zone, from Greek PMs or PMs in our time zone, or stay very late in the night. There are days during the day, and I'm sure that all my dear friends and colleagues, friends most of all here, will agree. There are days that I say to myself, these emails, that I really cannot work, because it's 5 minutes, it's 10 minutes, it's an email, and it's an email which I welcome. It's work. Yes. Someone wants me to work for him. This is pleasant. This is what we want. We want to have job. We want to have projects. We want to
Can I ask you something?
job.
So
yes?
if you answer an email half an hour later or an hour later, will you lose the job?
Probably
Possibly.
yes. Probably yes. I don't know which is the most. Possibly it's η πιο δυνατή, the more possible. It's possible than probably, but having a PM waiting is also for me very stressful. I think it's very impolite to have someone wait for my answer.
But the PM have the expectation that you are always on top and you're going to answer in half an hour, or because if
Yes,
you're traveling, if
yes,
you're having
because
a meeting, if
that's something different. That's force majeure. If you're traveling, or if you're not working for this day, or if you are ill, okay.
no, but if you're having a meeting for an hour and you answer your email after an hour, does this mean that you're going to lose your job, lose this job?
I will probably lose this specific project, and I will make a project manager very, very unhappy. When I say unhappy, I mean that she will be very stressed, because she will need an answer for me and for maybe other regarding to whether or not I can handle this project, because if I cannot, she will have to ask someone else. She is accountable to her clients. I'm sorry, the inclusive is very
yeah, of course.
Anyway, so I'm sure everyone on the panel is agreeing with me. I can see Poppy, I can see Effie nodding their heads.
I'm asking because I don't know your business. That's why I'm asking. So
we are translators, all of us. We are translators. Which means,
for example, I was working for a consulting agency where we received for projects many emails, etc. But for us, it's okay to answer at the end of the day or the next day. No one expects for you. So that's why I'm asking to understand from you.
For us, it is not, because it is not like if we translate a book, which will take months. We translate with a deadline of 3 hours, 4 hours, 20 hours, 2 days, 3 days.
So Evgenia, let me suggest something, and maybe you can tell me if that will work for you. Because for me, it's super inefficient for you to translate, then an email pops up, you stop, you answer. Then you translate, an email pops up, you stop, you answer. Okay, maybe something that my mentor had taught me, and it's really helpful, he calls them the magic 15 minutes. So what he says is that you can do the same strategy that I said, but for 15 minutes. So maybe for 15 minutes, you translate, but super focused. You don't answer an email, you don't answer nothing. 15 minutes, because in 15 minutes, we can do so much more than what we think. And then 15 minutes, or how much time you need, you answer your emails. And then for 15 minutes, you focus, and then that's maybe something that could work for you, because it maybe doesn't apply to your business. That's fine. I'm just trying to find
it marginally applies. It marginally applies. Sometimes for an hour or 2 hours, you might have no email at all. Sometimes within 15 minutes, you can have plenty of emails.
Yeah.
And can I show you that, especially when receiving job offers from automated platforms, you can lose a job for seconds. I know that everyone is agreeing with me. For seconds.
So Evgenia, probably
this might be, for example, a €1,000 job.
Yeah, I understand. So maybe
we have some emails that are on a first come first served basis. That's why.
Okay. So probably this tip doesn't really apply to you. If it's about losing a job, then I wouldn't use the technique that I said.
I don't know if any of the other dear friends has a suggestion for this email problem.
I do.
Please share it.
You know, I was going to say something when Alexia mentioned the tip, because it doesn't really apply to us, because we cannot take time to answer all the emails at a specific time frame. But what is really helpful for those emails that are very urgent are the automated replies and the templates of replies. For example, I use Outlook as a software installed on my computer, not the online version, which offers you the option to have preset pieces of text with which you can answer to an email. So I don't have to type 100 times a day, yes, I'm available for this, thank you. I just click and send it, and it goes to the project manager. Or I can say that I'm fully booked for the day and I can not take any new projects. And when I have a meeting and I cannot answer emails, I can always turn on the vacation response for my emails, but I adjust it in a way that says I'm currently in a meeting. I will get back to you at like 4 p.m. so that they know that I have seen the email, I have received it, and they can expect an answer from me. And one other thing that I can say as a former project manager in our sector is that the project manager doesn't feel bad that you don't answer immediately. If I really need you, I'm going to call you on the telephone and ask you if you are available for the job. Otherwise, I can move on to the next person. Like when you build trust with your project manager, they know that since you haven't answered, you're doing something else, or they can expect that you normally answer in 30 minutes. So don't feel bad about not answering immediately to an email. They know that it's a part of the job and that as freelancers, we have many things to do and we might not even be in front of our computers. So just don't feel bad about that. It's normal, it's part of our process. But the automated portions of the email are going to help you a lot with this. I usually check my emails every 20 minutes. And then I think that, okay, even if I lost a job in those 20 minutes, it wasn't meant to be. Otherwise, you start to burn out. I know that it's difficult to think that way, but it lowers my stress levels. Otherwise, all I would do all day would be to check my email and nothing else.
Thank you, Poppy. Don't all this is very helpful. The automated emails, the templates, the pre-written templates. Still, without I cannot say for myself, but that I'm hanging from my email, or that I'm I don't know what, I cannot live without the email. Still, the fact is that we cannot implement email absence for very long.
No, we can't. That's why we replace it with other things.
Even to deploy an automated response, you need to see the email.
Exactly.
For me, the answer is what I told you before. If when I have something that I want to be very, very concentrated, and I don't want to be interrupted at all, I wake up very early in the morning, or I go to sleep very late in the night, so I can have less burden of emails. Now, yes, if you lose a job, so be it. Depends on the job.
It depends on the job always.
Yes, yeah. And depending the PMs, yes, I'm sure if they want a specific translator to work with, they will try again. Still, sometimes they need the translator's answer to their client. So even for the PMs, it's not a good thing to have them hanging. If they move to the next translator, that's better for them. Of course, if someone cannot answer the email immediately.
Yes, but you know what I think? If you manage to implement all the other tips and then
yes, I agree.
Distress yourself,
yes,
and then have the emails be the only problem of our day.
Oh, I agree. I totally.
For me, it's going to be a great improvement. I mean, I forget to eat, which is like a basic human function. I have to eat. So it's 5 o'clock in the afternoon and I feel faint. And then I remember that I haven't eaten. My mother, and I'm not ashamed to say it, I'm 43 years old, and my mother used to call me up to last year to remind me to eat. And I think that if I do all the other stuff, then I will feel less bad or less stressed that I have to answer emails all day. And it's doubly hard for someone that is managing multiple people, because I have I'm a translator, and I'm doing my translation with my own hands, but I also have an employee who wants to ask something, so I have to divert my attention to them and then go back to the task I was doing. And like Alexia said, it literally takes me 20 minutes at a time to go back to the focus I was previously in. And it's a great burden. And let's not forget that we all think in 2 languages, at least when we are working. So that's an even heavier burden to have on your mind. But at least I think that with Alexia's tips, we can definitely save time and automate some things and make our day more productive and less stressful, of course. Are there any other questions? We have 5 more minutes. Okay. Alexia, I have one small question. Can you repeat that keyboard thingy that you said that saves lives? Because I didn't make a board something.
Of course, I'm gonna write
You
it
can
on
type it.
the chat. Sales keyboard. Boards, sales keyboard.
Okay.
But this is for the phone. It's not for the laptop.
I'm sure I can find something similar for a laptop. There are many
I think
tools
it
like
is
this.
actually. I haven't looked into it because I use it on my phone. It actually creates a new keyboard that has all the answers ready there for you. So,
and one last thing, I wanted to point out that I had tried the Pomodoro technique with the Pomodoro software, and it was stressing me out. Like the thought that I had only 25 minutes before the next break was causing me more stress than not having the timer.
okay, so not all techniques are for everyone. That's why I suggest you try it out and you see what works for you best. For me, for example, having a timer, it helps me a lot because when I think, oh, okay, maybe just for a minute, let me do that. I say, no, Alexia, you have a timer. You will do it as soon as the timer is done. And I don't feel like I need to finish what I'm doing when the timer ends. It's just that I'm going to take a break when the timer ends. But again, you're going to see what works for you best.
Yes, and one thing I found is that the opposite helps me, like putting a timer for my break. When I take a break,
okay,
I force myself to stay on the break for the 15 minutes I set for that break. So I do the opposite.
Perfect.
Regarding Pomodoro, Poppy, I read, and Alexia and everyone, I read that some recent research propose 52 minutes, a 52 minutes working session and a 17 minutes break session.
Yeah, there are many different.
Yes, there are many different. And also, and you can adjust it. For me, I found, because, for example, as Alexia said, if the phone rings, you need almost 19 minutes to get back in the zone. But when the Pomodoro break comes, how come after 5 minutes we are in the zone again? This is something that I never quite understood. So I try to check myself and see how much time I can work without feeling, and a maximum is 1 hour and a half, 1 hour, 15 minutes, 1 hour and a half. So now I'm setting my Pomodoros to this time, to the time that I found for myself that it's okay. And then I'm having a 10 or 15 minutes break. Maybe you should try, Poppy, and find what's the better working session is with you, because 20 minutes, 25 minutes, I also think that it's too short. Sometimes even to look for a term, it's 25 minutes.
It's 25 minutes for us, yeah.
Yeah.
See, this is what Alexia said. We need to adjust the tips to our own working style.
I use a toggle to monitor how much a task or project takes me. Usually, to know that the tasks that X client sends usually will take me, for 1,000 words, I'll need 2 hours. So I can schedule my time better. And while I'm monitoring how much time it takes, I usually see that around the half an hour, I start losing focus and I need to get up, which I found has helped me because as I get older, I feel the need to get up and stretch so that, we don't become humpbacks.
Just remember on that, I totally agree that you can adjust the time of Pomodoro. Just adjust it, not at the point that after 2 hours you can't work anymore, because that means that you have exceeded your limit. You need to take a break before you get super tired in order to be able to continue. That's the only thing I would say on that. But congrats on finding your own way. And also, Elisabeth says, do you have any tips for procrastination? Sure. I would say 2 things. The one thing, for some people it works, for some it doesn't. That's why I always say 2 things. The one thing is, do it first thing. Elisabeth, get ready. Tomorrow morning. First thing. Just get it done. Get it out of the way. Just do it. You're going to feel so much better, because procrastination takes so much energy from our head and the way we think. A lot. Just do it tomorrow morning, first thing. No excuses. That's the one thing. I hope you do it. It's for your best. It's for your best interest. The second thing, generally for procrastination, you can play a game with yourself. I did it the previous time and it worked wonders for me. You can say, I'm going to do this only for 5 minutes or 10 minutes. Okay, you're just going to say this to yourself. And you do it for 5-10 minutes, and then usually you get into the flow and into the zone and you keep on going. But having said to yourself that I'm going to do it only for 5 minutes, it usually makes the trick. All of these tips and all of the things that we do and all of the habits we have are, you actually, it's a game with yourself. You set the rules for yourself. So you can start playing with yourself, if that makes sense.
Can I ask a final question if nobody else has anything? You said for prioritization, the 3 methods, and you've tried all of them.
Yeah.
Which one worked for you? Or which one,
For me,
struggled more?
I use the first one. It's my favorite, the magic question. It always helps me prioritize everything very clearly. A lot. And it always helps me when I feel overwhelmed. Whenever I find myself doing one thing, then another, then calling, I stop everything. I take my paper, I write everything down, I prioritize, I stop everything that I'm doing, and then I just do the one thing. For me, it helps me a lot, especially when I feel overwhelmed.
Sounds great.
Okay, I was just writing to let everyone know that we
Thank you.
have to let Alexia go because she has another meeting after this one. But the rest of you, if you want to remain here and discuss things and exchange tips, you're welcome. We are going to be here for a little bit.
Perfect. And if someone else has another question, or after tomorrow they remember something, feel free to send me on Instagram, and I promise I will answer you. And feel free to let me know how it went as soon as you tried out. I would love to hear that.
Thank you very much, Alexia, for this wonderful presentation. It has been really helpful.
Of course.
Thank you very much. Yes.
And thank you for your for asking questions and being part of it and writing everything down. It was wonderful. So thank you very much, and I hope to see you somewhere else as well, maybe up close at some point.
Hopefully, yes.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Have a great evening. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Κάπου εδώ μπορούμε να...
Stop the recording.
κλείσουμε και το recording. Ναι, ευχαριστούμε όλους που ήσασταν εδώ. Αν θέλετε, μπορούμε να συνεχίσουμε τη συζήτηση, τα ελληνικά πλέον.